One of the big questions is, what is money?
For practical purposes, it exists in a series of heterogeneous databases, very different databases.
Do you believe in crypto?
Digital currency may be an answer.
But it is a highly speculative asset.
I do own Bitcoin.
There is no second best.
Welcome to the Crypto Curious podcast. Every Wednesday, we dive into the dynamic world of cryptocurrency. If you're new to crypto, we recommend starting with our early episodes where we break down the basics and give you a solid foundation to understand the crypto world. For the Crypto Curious, the seasoned addict or the industry insider, we're here to help you unpack the latest digital news. This week on the show, Bitcoin kicks off December with a little wobble. Also, Ethereum's next big upgrade, this one's called Fusaka. Plus, the prediction markets finally go on-chain, and that is through Kalshi. We talk about that one. My name's Tracy. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Blake. Welcome to the show, Blake.
Thanks, Trace. Great to be back. I am back in sunny Perth. First couple of days of summer. I'm so stoked to be here in the sunshine. Another crazy week in crypto. Can't wait to get stuck into it. But it might be worth starting out and telling you a little bit about the Blockies, which is the Australian Digital Asset Industry Awards night for DECA. And yeah, it was a great night to see everyone. There's a few shout outs that we want to give. Firstly, Amy Rose, the CEO of our peak industry body in Australia. She did a great job pulling it all together. Some award winners that we'd like to give a shout out to. Jelly C, a crypto fund based between Sydney and Western Australia, headed up by Michael Prendeville. They won Financial Innovator of the Year award. Now, we've already had Michael scheduled to come on the podcast in the next couple of weeks, Trace, to talk about some of the stuff that they're doing.
He's coming on next week, so that's good timing.
Fantastic. Very good timing. And they're doing some really interesting stuff about tokenizing funds on the blockchain, which I'm sure we'll get into in more detail. Secondly, we'd like to give a shout out to friend of the pod, Ben Simpson, who won Educator of the Year. Yeah, so they're doing an incredible job over there at Collective Shift, and congratulations to Ben. And finally, CoinJar won Exchange of the Year in Australia, one of Australia's oldest exchanges, and they've been chipping away for a long time. So congratulations to them as well.
Yeah, look, I certainly had a little bit of FOMO last week seeing Blake all suited and booted in his suit, getting along to the event. So again, congratulations to everybody that won from us. I'm hoping to get along next year. All right, Blake, should we jump into this week's news?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, folks. Well, look, a quick snapshot before we dive in. As of today, Bitcoin is trading around $84,000 US. It's roughly 6 or 7% down in the last day or two, and almost 30% down from its early October all-time high, nearly $126,000 US. So November actually closed out having one of the worst months of the year. Bitcoin shed around $18,000 US during the month. Okay, now that's a big dollar loss in a single month, to be honest. And a lot of people are a little scared, but this is just a dip that we are used to. And like I said, it's dipped to around 84,000, a little bit lower than that, but we were up around 100,000 only a few days ago. So these are the ups and downs that we see, Blake, that we are used to. So I'm sure there's a positive spin in there somewhere.
That's right. This is a dip for ants, and we expect continued long-term momentum of Bitcoin. But obviously these pullbacks and these price corrections are healthy for the market. It allows for the market to follow its natural course. And those that are DCing into crypto are picking up cheaper Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other digital assets to bring their average buy price down, which is a great opportunity for investors. But why is this happening, Trace? Is sentiment out of the market? What's going on?
Well, look, I don't know, because I think, as always, each week, and we have many stories to come for you here today, folks, it's all positive stories for you. There's all positive sentiment. So who knows? Who knows? No one can time the market. No one's got a crystal ball, as you always tell them. So we just have to hold tight and see where this market takes us.
That's it. So yeah, we'll be reporting on this next week.
No doubts. Let's move on to our second story. This week, we're talking about Ethereum and its next major upgrade. We started talking about these Ethereum upgrades almost 2 years ago. We knew that they had many in succession over the next 2 years. And this next major upgrade is called the Fusaka upgrade. And it's the second biggest major upgrade of the year for Ethereum. And it's set to go live early December. It's actually set to go live tomorrow, time of recording, which is the 3rd of December. We know Ethereum updates can sound a little bit technical, but it's important to know a little bit about this one because it will make the network faster, cheaper, and easier to build for those people out there building, especially for layer 2s who sit on top of Ethereum. And we know there's so many amazing layer 2s being built on Ethereum out there doing some great things who are really setting up long-term plays out there at the moment, Blake.
That's exactly right. Now, Ethereum tend to put out a bunch of upgrades in one package or at one time. And these include different ways of handling data transfer between the layer 1 and layer 2 blockchains. Secondly, that allows for faster, cheaper, and more reliable transactions on both layer 2 and the layer 1 blockchain. The layer 2 is a Base, Optimism, just to name a few. Thirdly, it will require the layer 2s to start burning Ethereum moving forward. And this is really exciting because obviously the price of Ethereum relies on supply and demand dynamics. And the less supply or the less Ethereum that's in circulation, the better it is going to be for price long term. And if every transaction, a little bit of Ethereum is permanently destroyed, it reduces that. And there's a website called eth.burn, I believe, or we'll put the details in the show notes where you can watch the amount of Ethereum being burnt live. So it's really exciting. And there's a bunch of other upgrades with respect to the infrastructure and the software that the Ethereum uses to operate the network. So great to see they're delivering on their mission and bringing the cost and price down and the security continuing to improve.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ethereum is going to be that home or that home base for DeFi and NFTs, gaming and everything else. And upgrades like this really are important and make that possible to roll those things out. So exciting stuff. But moving on and keeping with Ethereum, however, something else really interesting, but on a slightly different topic, Vitalik, who is the founder and well-known face of Ethereum, just dropped $765,000 in Ethereum to two privacy-focused messaging apps. One of them is called Session and the other is called Simple X. And they're aiming to be the crypto-native version of Signal or Telegram. Now, this was a good timing because, Blake, you actually caught up with the crew from Session while you were in Sydney recently.
Yeah, that's right. Session app is an incredible product. Now, it's a peer-to-peer messaging app. Now, others might have used Telegram, 1 billion users are saying globally, or even Signal, which is another privacy messaging app. And one of the downfalls of these apps is that you do have to provide your mobile number in order to create an account. Now, the great thing about Session is that you only need to create a public and private key, which works quite similar to how the Bitcoin network or other blockchains work. So it's a lot more secure and it's founded by an Aussie team. So shout out to the guys over at Session. We'd love to have you on the show. We've reached out to a couple of people to get their details, but if anyone else knows them, please send them our way. We'd love to chat with them.
Yeah, fantastic. So there you go. Ethereum's doubling down on not just infrastructure and scaling, but also, Vitalik, they're signaling that privacy still is very much important and matters within this space. Okay, let's move on to our next story. This one is a bit of a wild new twist in the crypto landscape, or coming into the crypto landscape, and that's Kalshi, one of the prediction market betting platforms. They've just dropped tokenized versions of its event contracts on the Solana blockchain. Now, that means those yes and no betting events that you can bet on are now live on chain and can be traded like crypto. And they can tap directly into the DeFi liquidity pools, Blake. This is pretty exciting for the crypto native people out there, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly right. So we'll just quickly talk through how this would work. Now, you can put a bet on an event, for example, whether or not Donald Trump is going to say a particular thing in his next speech, and you can place a yes or no bet. Now, the price of that bet goes up and down depending on the probability changes over time. Like any bet, as you get closer to the date of his speech, the probability will change and the chances will change, and you have the opportunity to buy and sell those bets back to the platform or with other bettors. You can manage your risk throughout the time period. But what's really exciting is that your bet gets tokenized. So then you can go and lend and borrow against the value of your bet in decentralized finance. So it allows for decentralized leverage trading of prediction markets, which is incredibly exciting. And those that in the know and might have an edge this is really valuable to them because they could 10 or 100 times their money with subject matter expertise. And these are the things that make prediction markets work, because the more people that it attracts with subject matter expertise on a particular topic, the more predictable the outcomes are.
The innovation in this space is just mind-blowing at the moment.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. So obviously this does feel like quite a big move, definitely going to bring a lot more people on chain and into this area. So we will definitely keep an eye on how many people and the liquidity that flows into the markets through these tools. It's interesting stuff. Okay, with that, folks, we'll take a break. When we come back, our short, sharp news bites. Here's Steve Smith buying a coffee. He's actually also investing in crypto at the same time, using Bamboo. You take care of drinking coffee with your mates, we'll take care of investing the small change. Start investing your change today with Bamboo. Welcome back. You're listening to the Crypto Curious podcast. Time now for our short, sharp news bites brought to you by the Bamboo app. Okay, up first, South Korea's biggest exchange, Upbit, has confirmed that it looks like the South Korean hacked for about $37 million after spotting some dodgy withdrawals from one of its Solana's hot wallets. They paused the deposits and withdrawals straight away while they investigated, but some said that they have fully covered their losses from their own reserves. So it's good to see that they are able to do that and they're out of pocket. But I put this in the chat earlier. I think it was Craig Jackson from our chat that said 37 million is not really a lot these days, and good to see that it was covered for them straight away. What's up next?
Next up, Hamish and Andy, two well-known Australian comedians and radio hosts, have managed to recover 2 Bitcoins that they purchased over 10 years ago. They lost the password or the keys to this wallet, and so they brought it to Anthony from Find Your Crypto, a specialist who helps people recover lost Bitcoin and other crypto assets. And they've been able to brute force this or run billions of passwords and combinations in order to get access to these 2 Bitcoins. And now they have them fully unlocked. So that's nearly $300,000 Aussie that they've been able to get that have been lost. So congratulations to Hamish and Andy.
I don't know. Apparently it was $1,000 that they bought it for. That's some forced savings right there. It's a nice one. Okay, here we go. This one is Conor McGregor. He slammed his opponent, Khabib, for dropping a Telegram-only NFT collection and basically said that it was a cash grab, exploiting his late father's name and culture and scamming fans. And he was very vocal about this. The project apparently raised $4.4 million. And this guy fired back, basically saying that was rubbish. But then our very favourite blockchain sleuth on Twitter, Zach XBT, stepped in and pointed out that McGregor himself tried launching a meme coin earlier this year. We may have reported on it, called Real, which bombed out badly. It was a betting coin also. And he actually had to refund investors after raising only 39% of its target. So, yeah, it's just interesting how, Zach XBT comes to the rescue every now and then. Okay, what's up next?
All right, next up, Strategy's CEO has come out and said that they're going to start selling Bitcoin if their market to net asset value drops below 1. And what that means is that Strategy have brought 650,000 Bitcoins at an average price of around $78,000. So if the price dips below that, they may be forced to sell some of their Bitcoins. Now, obviously, Michael Saylor, the biggest Bitcoin bull, has always come out and said that they would never sell Bitcoins. But here we are. When the rubber hits the road, it may be the case that they have a liability to do so.
Okay, next up. China doubles down. This time it's stable coins in their crosshairs. The People's Bank of China, the PBOC, and other regulators just issued a fresh crackdown, once again banning crypto use and explicitly flagging stable coins as illegal financial instruments. They say that stable coins fail to meet anti-money laundering and ID verification rules and vow to enforce the ban hard. So this is a little bit comical. As we've heard for a long time, it was always China bans Bitcoin, China bans mining of Bitcoin, China bans trading. So it was always a little bit of FUD from China. This time they are looking directly at stable coins. There you have it.
There you go. All right, Vanguard, which is a large asset manager and ETF issuer, they a long time had a no crypto policy. They wouldn't let their brokerage clients trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, or Solana, but this has now changed. Vanguard's doing a full 180 and allowing their customers to buy and sell digital asset ETFs. Now, this is incredibly exciting. How many customers do Vanguard have, Tracy?
Vanguard has over 50 million investors worldwide.
Wow. There you go. So hopefully they're all getting an email.
We can only hope. There you go. All right. That was our last story, folks, for this week. But we'll be back next week with plenty more stories to share with you. So until then, stay curious, stay connected. You can do this by joining our Crypto Curious Facebook group or our Instagram page. Be sure to hit the subscribe button wherever you're listening to us now. If you're looking to dollar cost average into the crypto market, have a look at the Bamboo app. There'll be a link in the show notes below. Don't forget to use the code CURIOUS for $10 of free Bitcoin to get you started. Bye for now. We'll be back next week.
Bye, guys.